Hey, Vinny Milkus Outdoors. Spring is here officially, even though the weather's kind of confusing us. And if you watch Red Crest, it looks like a winter tournament, right? But the fish are moving up. The fish are getting ready to do their thing, and they'll continue to. Oh, also, if you watch the One Bass Lake Mojave thing, big smallmouth coming out of there, and I'm not sure what they're actually doing. They might actually be pulled up, or I know the smallmouth are at least pre-spawn, if not some of them on beds at this point of the year over there on the Colorado River system. Well, here I'm more importantly here I'm going to show you a couple of sleeper bed baits or just spring baits in general. Whenever those fish are right there getting ready to build a bed and or just flipping around for those females that are right there getting ready to go on the bed as well. And excuse me, a lot of guys will throw jigs and those are good too. Drop shots are good, but a lot of guys go through, especially where I'm at now in the country, and they'll throw those jigs, they'll throw the stuff in there, work a bed, and then nothing happens and they leave, right? And I've talked about this before, the art of bed fishing. Well, too, let me show you a couple baits that I will initially throw, especially if I'm going behind people. Like I've shown you in the past, I have some really super secret little dudes that I'll go in there and I can clean house. But there's a couple other baits that are across the country that I really love, and they're kind of on both ends of the spectrum. And one is crawfish imitator, one's a sunfish imitator. So let's start with the crawfish imitator. And now there's really a lot of good crawfish baits out there, but one of the original old OGs and still one of the most realistic ones is the Huddleston craw right here. This is him. And they come in a myriad of different paint jobs. I think I just showed you what the second bait is, but you can get the hand painted one, which this is it, in a couple different colors, and then you can get just the solid injected colors. The thing with these, they used to come with weights on the bottom. I still have some with that, and they'd back scuttle. What you do here, though, which is very unique, is even without this little wire harness, you can just there's a little flat spot here where you have on where you have on the crawfish here, and you hook them there with, and I use a NACO hook, a larger drop shot hook, and then you either have those weights or this is also made for like a jig head. But what we'll do here is you take your a NACO weight of some sort if you don't have the weights for these, or you don't even have that metal appendage, and you go ahead and put it in that flat spot, a NACO weight. And what that does is it kind of fishes like a NACO, only this little guy, his little appendages flare out, and he's jiggling all over the place. He looks like a crawfish. Excuse me. Just a killer bedfish bait. And usually you can go behind people and really clean out a house. And I've also done really well just flipping this around. If I see a bed and I'm waiting for that fish to like come back and set up, and I just flip that around to the areas I believe the female is going to be sitting in. A lot of times on the fall, she just can't help it. She'll just suck this in because it just looks too realistic. Okay, the second one, I'm working a bed and I see other guys working these beds and nothing's happening, right? They're throwing their jigs, they're throwing whatever the case may be, their drop shots, their stick worms and all that, and nothing's happening, right? And I know there's a fish there. I go the exact opposite then when I see that sometimes. You'll see on my deck, I always have one of these rigged up. And that is, well, not necessarily just this brand, but particularly this brand is really good. The Matt Lures. You can see I've already got some paint where the fishes actually hit it. You toss this thing in there, and you can get a couple different versions, different colors, paddle tail, fork tail. But anyway, you toss this in there, and you inch that thing right on the bed, nose down, and you will be amazed at how aggressive the fish will get on this thing. And fish that will look away at little Ned rigs and little things that go across their bed, or even the crawfish stuff, they might like look at it and they swim away, or even a drop shot. You set the bait on there, a jig or whatever, and they won't do anything. But you get put across this bed a realistic panfish imitator, and it's like a light switch sometimes just goes off on these fish and they attack it like instinctually. I mean, it's not just like they go nudge this thing. I've seen like a lot of times where I got some with riptails. A lot of times where these fish will absolutely just smack the crap out of it, like it's like something out of a horror movie, And that's a deadly technique, especially when you get that female comes up there. Those eggs are already laid, or she's laying the eggs. You put that thing in there, and it's game on. So a lot of it sometimes depends on what stage those fish are in on their But oh, last thing on that. Also, the same thing I do with that. When the fish is swimming around, you throw that bluegill imitator, panfish imitator, in places where those uh, females should be set up. They're not necessarily on the bed, and sometimes you'll get one just to come and engulf it. I've had that happen a lot of times, especially when there's like brush around. You're like, okay, well, there's the bed. Where's that female going to be at? Well, okay, there's a nice lay down right there. You just run that thing right by the lay down. Coming off the lay down, it seems like you can sometimes pull those 4-plusers out with that kind of swim bait. But anyway, um, those are the two like kind of super secret baits. Of course, I got other bed fishing baits, but all and like I've discussed in like the art of bed fishing. We might go do some more of that here within the next few weeks and actually film some of it. But there's it's a lot of reading the fish and reacting to its inclinations or whatnot by just experimenting. But these two baits here they're so realistic, and they act so well in the water, and they're so well made that it's hard for those fish to really not hit them. And like I said, I've gone behind a lot of guys, especially out here, that just throw the same thing and have been able to pull bed fish out that that I was told were not ready. They weren't set up right. But I was able to prove them wrong, and it's one of the funnest things I think in fishing is to do that, is to work a real bed fish, because you get that really good you get the good feedback, you get realistic feedback, and I guess you kind of get that with the live scope. But this, you actually see how the fish is reacting, you're seeing how he's and you can react off that feedback and adjust your fire there with the baits. But anyway, I want to leave you there with those. There's not number of other crawfish baits, a number of other panfish swim baits out there that can be utilized in the same manner, but those are just two of them that really well known in the West Coast, and I see a couple guys here and there throwing them on in the Midwest and the East, but not enough guys that you can't go around behind people working bed fish and really slay them with this. Anyway, talk to you later. Peace.